Wellness Show, episode number 398.
Welcome to the Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyson Bannigan, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more. Welcome to the Wellness Show on health, wealth, and enlightenment. I'm your host, Tyson Bannigan. This is a talk show for 1 hour. You get to phone in and ask all your questions about dowsing, energy healing, what's up with planet Earth, and what's up in your life. Give us a call for a healing or to tune in about the topic on the show. The show's topic today is sacred sex and relationships. So are you having sacred sex? Yes or no? We want to know from you. So let us know. So phone in 1-866-369-7464 and we'll get you straightened out. So that's the topic. So what's up in your life in that area?
Michael. Michael's like, what is up in that area in your life?
That's right.
Hello.
Well, Laura, I'm waiting for the answer. Welcome to the show there, Laura. That's the co-host.
Well, thank you for introducing me, Ty. What's up?
You're
with
most
that?
welcome.
I am very, very particular about that in my life because of who and what I am. So I don't really partake too much in
Right.
that kind of stuff because I haven't
Yeah,
really
it's a-
found anyone.
Yeah, if if it's like a dance partner, you want a good dance partner, and it's when we're talking about sacred sex, we're talking about a union that's sacred. Otherwise, it's not sacred sex. So that can be for many people very far and few between. There has to be an energetic match. Some people would call it soulmates or twin souls, or or twin rays, or my soul partner, or all sorts of different terminology. But even that can sort of miss the mark.
Yeah.
In that many soul partnerships are really not the ones that are, what would you say, lovey-dovey peaceful. They really have to do with the soul's evolution and can be quite dramatic and challenging and almost off the charts. So a lot of twin souls are not necessarily born at the same time or live in the same country or share the same bedroom, because it's just too explosive, right? It's too much energy. It's like looking into a mirror 24/7, 365 every second. You get to see yourself and what you haven't worked out.
Yeah.
And if you're at that stage and can handle that, I mean, it's a great way to get through your crap, so to speak, and get out the other side very quickly. But most people really don't want that intensity in a relationship. They want to sort of dilly-dally around and sort of dip the wick, so to speak. They don't want to take it all too serious. So it's important that you think about this very, very much from, a sacred point of view. Sex is fine. Nobody says that sex isn't great. Masturbation is great too. But if you really, really want to experience sacred sex, then you have to have a good energetic match with your partner. That's why I would say a divine marriage, and I'm not saying a marriage that's condoned or authorized by the state or by the church. I'm talking about a sacred marriage because two people have each come together and decided to join in their discovery of both each other and are on a spiritual path and want to join forces to do that. So sacred marriage is really, in my mind, and I'm not trying to be a prude, is part of the equation that's necessary for sacred sex to really be able to happen. It has to be safe beyond all understanding. You cannot go down that royal road to enlightenment with a partner that may be here today and gone tomorrow, or we're just going to have fun, or it's a one-night stand or whatever. It just isn't destined to be that way. So it's pretty serious stuff, but it's also the royal road, in my mind, to enlightenment. Well, what do I mean by that? I means that when you come to terms with yourself and begin to love yourself unconditionally, and you find another partner that's at that point in their lives too, and then you decide to join to share your unconditional love, not only for yourself, but with your partner, then the Kundalini that's rising in your body that you've experienced with flashes of Satori or enlightenment, and she has, when you join those two forces together, then the explosion of the orgasmic, and I'm not saying ejaculation, I'm talking about orgasm. It can include ejaculation, but the orgasm is beyond all understanding because it's a union at the divine or at the soul level. So, I mean, one of the great ways to understand more about that is to take a look at the book about Mary Magdalene by Tom Kenyon. It really has some good examples in that. And if you open it up, there's a picture in there that talks about or shows what happens in the Kundalini. So the Kundalini coming from the base chakra, it curves like this around every chakra, right? So the chakra is between my two arms. I don't know if you can see the gap there. And then the two snakes come up. And then at the top, there it is. There's the sacred union. And as they meet on the top, by bringing it up, so the Kundalini is a pool of energy in the base of the chakra. And when you're one with the divine and you're grounded to Mother Earth, then the energy starts to climb up. As you can see, the male comes up one side and the female energy comes up the other, or the yin and the yang. And then the two snakes come together. They describe the snakes, and there is an endorphin, or there is a secretion that happens that lights up the pineal gland and opens the crown chakra, and you experience bliss. And bliss is really a state beyond orgasm. It's a state beyond. It just pure bliss is like being one with all that is, right? There's no separation. And so it's an ecstatic state with your cup, like that snake is dripping into the cup. So when you have sex and you're with a partner and you're joined, then that Kundalini snake, the male comes up one side, goes through the penis into the vagina, up the other side to the female, back down through, comes back through the vagina, through the penis, and up through the male. So you have a double explosion happening, and you start to see the stars, so to speak. So that's really what sacred sex is about. And it has to do with being able to modulate through breath and be able to raise Kundalini through your own system first, before you can actually share that with another person of the opposite sex. And you have to have a trust level there that is just impeccable. Otherwise, your heart won't be open enough to let that other person's energy flow through your chakras. So thank you for holding that up. That's the pathway of the two serpents. You can bring the book down now. So Tom Kenyon also has a really good set of CDs that you can listen to, which has to do, and I don't know if it's in the back of the book, but his whole experience with Mary Magdalene is from the point of view of Mary Magdalene being Isis, or being an incarnation or part of the lineage of the sacred divine feminine through the Isis lineage, where the women were in the temple were actually there to instruct men at puberty about the right way to have sex, the right way to join with their partners in a loving way, something our culture doesn't even talk about, except we learn all those great things in the bathroom as boys, in the school, but which is a lot of information that's not the way to learn about sex. But anyway, I digress. So the book itself, I think will give you that, but you can always just Google Tom Kenyon, and what he's talking about is the ancient Egyptian way of raising the Kundalini. And in the use of his own voice and sound, he guides you through how to work on raising your own Kundalini within your own body in preparation for that sacred marriage, or that sacred union. So it is, I believe, one of the royal paths to enlightenment. Absolutely exquisite, and something worth pursuing, but it's not something to be taken lightly.
He talks about, or she talks about, Mary Magdalene talks about her relationship with Jesus in this book. And why they came together, and how it helped him when he was crucified to rise up again was through the energy that the two of them created.
Yes.
And about their daughter, and like her life after like Jesus would come to her after his death, and they would join again, because it wasn't about the physical act of intercourse but the energetic. So you can have sex with someone without even touching them or being in this. You could be
In the same room.
You don't even have to be in the same room.
No. And the
That's
way
what-
that we're talking about that one is also, I mean, the penis can be in the vagina, but it doesn't have to. That linkage causes the energy to flow through one set of chakras and the other simultaneously.
Mhm.
So think of it this way: when the two snakes are inside of you, and you do that, you have one cup, and you have the energetics, you know, the sacred energy being dripped into the cup. But when you have two of them doing this, then we have another cup, right, where the double snakes are dripping. So you're on another level. You're actually at an interdimensional level of the relationship. So you get, you know, where two or more are gathered, there am I. So you have a multiplier effect when you do that. So the line's open. So if you want to talk about your experience, or what you believe, or you think it's a bunch of hooey, or whatever,
or ask questions that we
or
could
ask
answer.
questions, the line is open: 1-866-369-7464.
Remember too, that there's a lot of breathing exercises that go in with this. There's, like you said, the trust and the understanding, and the when you do push that energy up and through, and both of you are simultaneously doing it at the same time, and you reach the climax, then there's a secretion that comes down through from the bowl, as you say at the top, that
Yeah.
will seep down the back of your throat, and is like, yeah.
It's like the nectar of the gods. It's like prana or mana. So the prana is like, it's an enlightening experience. You become one with the divine. There is no separation. So, I mean, the way to do this is actually the stepping stone to that is the deep clearing protocol. You think, what that got to do with it? Well, quite simply, all the energy that you are consuming by trying to get out of your own way, which would be core fractures, toxic emotion, unresolved conflict, whatever trauma is going on in your body, is going to block the flow of Kundalini. If your energy is being used to repair or heal your body, then there isn't any extra energy to pool in the lower chakra, climb through the chakra. So you have to be at peace with yourself. You have to be doing some meditation and practice. You need to be able to do rhythmic breathing. You have to be able to relax. And then you'll feel that pool of energy building in your lower chakra as it begins to climb. So fortunately, yesterday was Tuesday, right? I mean, the whole world is sort of collapsing in, like, what day is it anyway? I was able to experience the first bliss that comes from the Kundalini coming up the spine, which was exciting. I was really, really fortunate in that I had a session with my coach, and that's all I'm working on is how to get out of my way and get into my true nature, because when I'm in my true nature, I'm one with source consciousness. When I'm one with source consciousness and I breathe with one consciousness, then the Kundalini will then rise up through the chakras. And so I had this experience of totally being like a pillar of light. And then the next thing is that I had an interview with Devora Gila, who is a co-facilitator in the Mastermind, and she interviewed me about, okay, what is it? Why are you here? What are you serving? So I got to talk about that whole experience again, and had that experience all over again. So I had it twice. And then Darlene, who lives with us, also gave me a massage in the evening, which unblocked me even further. So it was really pretty an incredible day in letting go to let this divinity flow. Protocol is the more energy you have, because you've let go of what no longer serves you, the more energy there is to pass up your chakras to achieve that bliss. So that's why we encourage you to do the deep clearing protocol, because it is the path to enlightenment. So what do you think of that, eh?
I agree. Deep cleaning protocol is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's sort of like cleaning out the bottom of the barrel, right? Before you make a nice new fresh wine.
I just made soap yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, I make my own. Well, I shouldn't say making soap. I use African black soap that I get from Africa. It's got 3 ingredients, and then I make my own liquid soap out of it. Takes about 3 months. So I made another batch. Lasts about a year and a half, but I was getting down to the end, and I'm like, ooh, better make some more. I won't have any.
That's right. Time to make some more. Yeah, I've got to go make some more tools. So if you want to order some tools from the wellness store, now's the time, because I have to make the pilgrimage down into my workshop and make some more tools. I got some brand new wire to make some paw pendulums. I'm out of the big paw pendulums, so I'll be in the workshop making some more. I'll also be making some more retractable bobbers, because somebody ordered them. Some more bracelets, both the ones that are positive and negatively wound. Positive, bringing in cosmic energy; negative, to take out what no longer serves you. It's great to buy them as a set. So I'm going to be making all these tools. So now's the time to order them.
How much are the bracelets?
It depends on what size they are. So I think they're somewhere about $18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then the
but it depends on whether you want them also with sprouting health or in them, which makes them 5 times stronger. So you have to be careful. You'll need to douse to see whether that's too strong for you or not, right? So what is the energy is sprouting health. I mean, sprouting wheat. And when you take a living energy and work with the devic energy, and you put it with copper and set an intention with a living essence, then the multiplying factor is just right off the chart, right? So, for example, somebody was doing that, and he never gave me the recipe, but I guess we could figure it out. He used something like that and put it in his paint and painted his room. And when I was talking to him, I could see orbs everywhere. Absolutely, the whole room was full of orbs, right?
And what's the purpose of having all those orbs in your room?
Well, just bringing energy. Well, the orbs are indicative of the high energy of the place and his state of consciousness, right? So again, it's all energetic. So if the room is at a high vibrational frequency because of the devic energy in the paint, he's going to entrain to that energy, right? He's going to be one with it.
I put all kinds of sayings under when I painted my bedroom last summer. I put all kinds of stuff, all kinds of intentions and love and joy and happiness. And
yeah, I've had a friend who took all of the Reiki symbols, because she's a Reiki master, and painted them on the wall first, and then painted over them. And I have a drum. My rain drum has all the Reiki symbols inside the drum. Right?
Yeah,
so.
I have all the Reiki symbols too. I have my room is very long and narrow, so there's a lot of wall space. So there was a lot of stuff that was given. Every space that I could, I was painting on it.
So what does this have to do with sacred sex? Well, again, it has to do the more you clear yourself, right? The more energetics that you have that raises your consciousness, the more energy that you have to come up your spinal column. And if you're still dealing with trauma, unresolved conflicts, core fractures, then that energy is being used to repair your body. So that's the key, right? You have to have a level of health, and you have to have a level of wellness in order to do this sort of work. So that's the connection.
And wherever you, like your room, wherever you sleep, where like my whole house, people walk in and say, your house is so calm and cozy and lovely. And well, yeah, because me and God hang out here a lot. We do a lot of work here. And so, and then I'm always pushing the energy out, clearing it with, as you guys know, I'm always smoking my sage. I don't smoke it, but I smoke it. Smoke the rooms. And that's like, how do you keep your environment, not only in your body, like what you put into it and how you feel in your body, but also where you live and how you have like your outside, all your gardens, what your front door looks like, everything, right? It all starts from your entire environment that comes all the way into your inner self, to your heart. And if all of that is clear and loving, right?
So the question here is, absolutely. And the question here is, what's the link to the spine? Is it linked to trauma? Well, the trauma is just, if you take your whole body and you think of it as having energy, right? A full bucket of water. And if you think of trauma as holes in the bucket, right? The bigger the trauma, the bigger the hole. And you're trying to fill it with divine energy and the bucket's leaking, you are not going to be having, you're going to take a lot of energy to keep the bucket full. If the bucket is self-contained, which is by doing the deep clearing, you've sealed all the holes in the bucket and repaired it, so you're not leaking energy, so to speak, right? Then there's energy for your body to heal and repair itself, and then the energy will then begin to, with the breathing, begin to pool in the lower chakra, in the base chakra, like it's a pool of energy. You'll feel it. It'll heat up. And then as it heats up and you keep breathing, it will start, if your system is clear, start to climb through the chakras like those double snakes we've talked about. Now, what I've experienced is any trauma physically, like some scara or a wound or a cut or a scar that cuts the meridian, needs to be repaired or dealt with. Otherwise, the energy gets jammed up against it and it can hurt like stink. So you want to do some pretty deep clearing to be able to move the energy. Otherwise, it gets blocked and it can hurt. And you can lead to things like headaches or back pains or wherever the energy is stuck. So that's why there's a connection between the trauma and the ability of the extra energy. Once the trauma is healed, it'll be available to pool in the base chakra and then climb the chakras.
But remember that the energy will follow the nervous system, because that's where your energy flows, right? It doesn't actually flow like up your organs and stuff. It would get lost and.
Well, no, it's going up the spine through the parasympathetic.
Yeah.
So their spinal column, the straight snake in the center is the sushumbi. That's the central column. And the two snakes coming up that side are the parasympathetic nervous system.
Right.
The left one on the left is called Ida, and the right on the right is called Pingala, Pingala. Those, one's masculine, one's feminine, or one's positive, one's negative, or one's magnetic and one's electric. And the two then do this dance up the spinal column to the top. Okay.
So Volker says if the energy does not go up the spine, they have a cut on the throat front. Can that be healed and balanced? Of course it can.
Yeah, all of the everything, all can be healed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Heather has a question about her partner. How can I help my partner turn off the negativity of the world and news he gets consumed with, so we are on the same plane and connect?
Turn the TV off, number one.
Okay, so you're a man, Tyson, and I love you, but coming from a woman, to do something to a man, to be like, well, we're turning off the TV and we're going to connect.
Well, no, you don't do that. You make it so exciting and interesting that the TV is secondary.
Okay, so then let's talk about that. Instead of saying
turn off the TV. Right? So turn them on. If you turn them on, that turns off the TV. It's just that simple. If you're going to talk about sacred sex and you're a feminine person, then use your wiles. You know how to do this. This is not difficult. I've
Yes,
seen
but it's
great video, and I loved it, where the guy is playing, with his
yes.
yeah,
Yep.
and she comes in naked,
I mean,
and
yeah.
all of a sudden he's not interested in playing his games anymore. It says, "Oh, honey," that's it.
They
No more
drop their
TV.
video games and they like,
That's right. There's no more video games.
the younger
There's no
ones,
more
the
TV.
older ones are like, yeah, let's get it on. But the
Well,
younger
even
ones are
the
like,
older ones, right? Yeah, they're just out of their chair as quick as a buddy. So,
he says, I want him to woo me. Girl, no, that's not the feminine way, girl. No, that's our job to woo
I
them.
have one
Oh, my Lord.
lady.
Honestly.
I have a person who's very much like my daughter, and what she does is she says, she comes into the room and says, "Honey, chase me."
Yeah,
And they
right.
chase each other, and that,
Right.
yeah.
That's right.
You just
That's what
whisper
my-
in
that's
his
what my
ear
spirit
when he's
dog does.
busy.
That's what my
Honey,
spirit dog
could you
does.
chase me?
Chase me. Chase me. And if the other dog isn't going to chase him, why, he just loses interest in him right now. But if they'll chase him, boy, they become best buds. Yes, everybody wants to be chased. But first you got to be, if you want to chase, you got to chase. If you want to be a good friend and have good friendships, be a good friend.
I know,
If
it
you
doesn't
want to be a
matter.
good lover,
That
and you
isn't
love.
relevant to a male. Just say chase me. You'll get it. You'll get it. Never mind. It's just a short circuit straight through to that part of the brain, right? We won't say what part of the brain, but no, that's the way. So, I mean, we're being a bit facetious, but seriously,
True.
the TV, at this time, if you don't limit the TV, like downstairs here in this house, that American TV is on 24/7, 365. Even when he's sitting out in the porch, it is, I tell you, it's overload. It is so crazy making jumping between those that are pro-Republican and those that are pro-Democrat. You're getting two stories. There's no way you can figure out what the truth is, because it's all mashed up. It's all like pablum that's being fed to you as our baby cereal, or our ground up carrots. I mean, it's baby food. It's like you're just being fed this crap. So there's no way to be able to figure out what the truth is. So the more TV you listen to, the more confused you get about what's really going on in the world. So how about if you just respect? So, honey, I know the news is important to you. So how about we watch the news together? I mean, you can fall asleep while he watches the news, but you're going to do it together. Let's watch the evening news once, okay? All right, and then we're going to watch a movie, or we're going to go to the bedroom, or we're going to do something else. But hey, honey, or it's sort of like, okay, honey, let's watch one football game, right? I'm going to share. You have to get into his world, right?
Yeah.
And you have to relate to his world, even if you don't want to. Then he can start to relate to your world. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Males are in a little box, right? And you gotta, don't disturb me in my box. I'm watching my show, honey. Don't bother me. Or I'm writing my book, Sarah. Don't come and bang on my door. Just the way we are.
So Crystal Clear says, sure, but who can have sex 7 hours a day, every day? And then somebody on the Wellness Academy said, challenge accepted.
Well, okay, let's go back to sex. You don't have to have sex every 5 minutes to make this work, but you can do things that are lovey-dovey in a way in which the person knows that they're being paid attention to and that they're loved. It doesn't have to be sex every moment. Yeah.
There's also this thing, and I know Heather understands me, and so does Crystal, that you can push that energy, so you're sitting next to them and get them all riled up just by pushing your energy around. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, then call me and set up an appointment and I'll show you.
Now behave yourself there.
No, I'm not going to behave myself. No, absolutely not, because it's true.
Of course it's true.
If that guy right there, if I was Sarah and he was reading his book and I wanted a little something, there's stuff we could do. All of a sudden they're like, what's going on? Let me tell you, if you, everyone's always thinking about the physical and the stimulation, but they're not using their energy, their brain is the way more sexual than the physical body. That's all I have to say.
Right. Next question.
Be careful what you ask for. You may wake up that monster within, and in the beginning it's kind of fun. After a while it's good.
Well, I mean,
Doesn't
when
have
we're
to
talking
be
about
7
sacred
hours.
sex, we're talking about sacred sex. This is not just, humping. This is something much more than that. So
Exactly.
you can get pretty bored pretty fast and exhausted and get your adrenals burnt like crisp if you insist on just having ordinary sex. This is not what we're talking about. We're talking about, I mean, even to have a pool of energy to climb up the chakras would be completely exhausted by ejaculating. So the two aren't the same. I mean, you have to be conserving. In fact, in the Taoist tradition, you're spending a lifetime, or certainly a long period of time, learning how to cultivate the Tao within, or how to cultivate the Qi. Whether you're doing Tai Chi or whether you're doing whatever it is, you're learning how to build the Qi inside of your body. It's only then that the pool of energy is sufficient for it to rise up the spine. So if you're having sex every 5 minutes and ejaculating, then there is no energy to go up the spine. It's impossible.
Right. So it is Crystal's birthday today. She's the big
Happy birthday, Crystal.
50, that half a century, the start of the best years of your life right now.
Wow. 50, eh?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that was a long time ago for me.
I know, I was going to say, do you remember 50? Even for me, it's like, it's been a while.
Yeah, well, those good old days. Okay, yeah.
The good old days. Yeah, enjoy them while they last.
Yeah, it's a wonderful time. Yeah.
It is.
Because you've got a lot of energy still to do all sorts of things. So, yeah, be creative and do what you want to do and really go for it, because later on you won't have the same amount of energy. You'll certainly have the passion to do what you want to do, but you don't necessarily have all the energy. So
Let's set the intention to find the right partner to have the sacred sex then.
yeah, that's something that is an inside job, right? We don't go looking for it. It's something that arrives when we're ready. So it's like a crystal skull. They say you don't go to find your crystal skull. You wait for the crystal skull to arrive when you're ready. So it's the same thing. Don't get fixated in going looking for the ideal man if you're not already the ideal woman, or vice versa. So be what it is that you want to attract, right?
Volker says, I find the dark uses love bombing to make people attract to each other and get stuck in lower vibes.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, that's what, voodoo is all about. A lot of it is around using sexual dolls and pins and all sorts of crazy stuff. A lot of what's going on, in intelligent agencies is getting people trapped by having sex. So they're in a compromised position. I mean, sex is the ultimate weapon in order to be able to bribe or enslave or other human beings. So, and in a satanic ritual, sex is used in very, very hideous ways in order to have pleasure that comes from, we won't even talk about it. So yeah, so there's ways in which sex can and always has been used as a manipulative force to dominate one person over the other.
Over the other, yeah.
Or each other.
I knew this woman once that put a spell on her husband to get her husband, and so he's been under this spell the whole time of their marriage. And I was like, really?
Yeah, well,
why would you want somebody that doesn't really want you? No, I don't understand that.
Yeah, well, they live in a different world, right?
Well, clearly.
Clearly, I mean, but to them, that's where they get their jollies, right? is by controlling other people. The thing about that is, the karma of that is just horrendous, right?
Thank you. I mean, maybe I didn't say it, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, not who would even want to know that
But
I had
most
to
people
under
don't even
spell?
know there is karma, right? They
Well,
don't
then
even believe it.
I go into their shop, and they have their shop set up too, so that you buy more than what you went. Like, so if you go in there for sage, I would always end up buying so much more, and I was like, why? Well, then when I found out that they have spells so that you buy more, I was like, insane. I refused to go back in there. Refused.
Well, isn't that what a lot of marketing is you got to do this, and even the terminology that's used in marketing is really quite insidious in that we have to play this game to entrap somebody to want to buy our product. Look, energetically, if you're in the right vibrational frequency, people are going to find you, because just like if you're looking for your soulmate. If you go looking for them with a shopping list, you're running up and down, through whatever,
Right.
the streets looking for your soulmate, you're not going to find it. You're going to find a lot of guys who are going to pretend to be your soulmate, but you're not going to find them. So it's the
Right.
same thing when you try and do that by finding clients that way, right? When you're running around doing all this crazy stuff. Look, you vibrate at a certain frequency, you attract certain people at that frequency. They're the ones who want to work with you.
All the time. I saw you on the thing, and I kept saying I had to go see Laura. I keep seeing you in my mind's eye. I don't know, but I just knew I had to come see you, and not the other people. I looked at your Facebook page, and I knew I had to come see you, and it happens with me all the time. And when people just call me up on the spur of the moment, sometimes they're like, oh, do you have any tonight? Nope, I don't. Because I know immediately. I'm like, no, they're just looking. I'm not the one for them. Oh, okay. Or they'll say, oh, I want one right now. And I'm saying, no, I can't right now, but I could, like on Sunday or something. And they're like, no, I'm looking for it right now. Then I know that I'm not supposed to be matched up with them.
Right.
And I don't try and make it happen. Does that make sense? Like, I don't.
Yeah, don't try and make anything happen. As soon as you're trying to make something happen, you're in your human mind consciousness, and you're already in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
When you walk into a room, it either feels right or it feels wrong. That's not, I don't have to think about this. Have a deja vu that you know this person from some past life or other dimension or whatever. There's an instantaneous connection. It's not, well, let me think about whether I like this person or not. It's like, boom. It's like instantaneous. There's no time for the brain to kick in and make any judgment. You just know. Anything other than that your brain is involved of having to do pros and cons, it's just a mental exercise. Mental masturbation, if we're going to talk about those types of words. So it's just not worth going there. If you do want to take the long road to enlightenment, there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody's going to get there sooner or later. It's just what time when you want to get there, sooner or later, right? You can take the long road. It's perfectly fine. So if just having sex for sex sake is just where you're at, and that's all you want, and that's all you're interested in, then go for it, right? If you want to take the royal road to enlightenment, then sacred sex is one of the ways in which you can do it. But you got to have an open heart, and you got to love yourself, and you got to be willing to look at the nitty gritty of the stuff that you have never wanted to look at before. So, it's like going naked into the world, right? There, you can't hide anything in a sacred relationship. You're naked. And, if you don't like the lumps and bumps and being naked, then you got a problem. Okay, we're live again. I don't know. I didn't know that we were dead, Michael.
I know, I didn't know. I see every time we start talking about sex, baby. Then
live or dead? Yeah, this is the question. Do you want to be alive or dead in every moment? So the phone is open, and everybody must be shy. Nobody wants to talk about their sex life. 1-866-369-7464. Give us a call. And what's up in your life, so to speak? Or not.
Or not.
Or not.
Are you going to sing happy birthday to Crystal? I'll listen.
All right, you go for it.
Throats off a little bit today.
So it says here, I don't know if we did
Yeah.
this. Did you do this? How to protect something? Sometimes it looked like all fine, and it turns out sour. Yeah, because you're coming from your you're coming from your lower chakra. I have to be careful of the words. I've been pretty straightforward on this call, but if your attraction to another human being comes from the lower chakras, then you're being jerked around, so to speak. You're like a pig with a nose ring. Okay. And if you look at the relationship from your higher self, then you will not get into relationships that all look fine and then turn sour. You will know. Or if you know how to get dowsing, you can douse on a scale of 0 to 100, 100%. If the relationship isn't a match at 90, 95 to 100, I wouldn't even consider it, unless you really want to know that the relationship is a great way to learn through pain and suffering, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And drama.
Drama. Oh my Lord.
If that's what you're into, then go for it.
No. Yeah.
But if you are and the relationship is unbalanced, like there's this person is really helping this person come up. When this person comes up and matches this person, they have to leave, okay? Because it was an interdependent codependent relationship. A codependent relationship must come to an end, because that other person then will turn around and find somebody beneath them to bring them up to their level as well. So a great book is Marriage Between Zones, and I can't remember the author right away, but it talks about that, raising another person up to your level, they leave, and then that person turns around and brings the next person up to the level. Marriage between zones. For a sacred relationship, you have to have two people in the same zone of consciousness, at the same level of spiritual development. So there's equality there that wants to join forces consciously to make the next evolutionary step consciously, individually, and collectively together. That's what a sacred marriage is. It can't be a codependent relationship.
Right. Well, I don't know where we are anymore.
You don't know where you are?
I don't know where we are.
Oh, are we
Can't find
somewhere?
us. I'm trying to listen to you and figure out where we are. Where is we?
So it doesn't matter where we are. We're already here.
Here we go. Okay.
So give us a phone call, 1-866-369-7464, and let me make sure that the phone is on. The ringer is on if you want to phone in. I just checked to make sure. And give us a call. What's up in your life? What's happening for you? What's this stuff called sacred sex? What's this stuff called relationship? Or even come on down, Crystal, so we can sing you happy birthday.
Yeah.
So we had a great show last night talking about earth heart resonance, because there's a sacred marriage as well. When your heart is resonating with the heart of Mother Earth, then Mother Earth allows you to open up to her consciousness, and the bliss that comes from that, when two or more are gathered in the name and resonate with the resonance of the heart, then you're informed by the field, the energetic field of Mother Earth. And the feeling is it's like being in the bosom of a mother. That's what it feels like. And when people share in that consciousness, it's just like ecstatic bliss. Well, here comes Darlene. Hello there, Darlene. How are you?
Hello, Tyson and Laura. I am well. I am in the garden. I just wanted to kind of talk about, I don't know if you know spinal network analysis. So it's basically they get the chiropractic and then they go to beyond that, and for I think it's at least 2 or 3 years, and they become spinal network analysis, which is only, I think, about not very many practitioners out there, but I was fortunate enough to go to one for several years in my hometown, and they work with the nervous system and the spine, and they're actually able to help rise that Kundalini energy. And the experience is quite extraordinary as you progress and get that energy flow.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it. I think you could talk to my Sarah. I think that she's had that experience too. I think that in that particular situation that she was doing it in Vancouver, there was multiple tables, and you were actually being taught different movements. Like one of them I remember that Sarah was talking about was like moving the spine like a dolphin. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, there's a certain point where the body will move in a wave. And yeah, there is definitely 3 tables up. She just kind of, or she just does a little flick to the bottom of your spine, and then they move to the next person. It's like opening up that gateways. Yeah,
exactly. So that's what my Sarah has an experience with as well. So you might want to talk to her in the garden about that, because you could share notes. Yeah, and I think, in actual fact, we're not doing that sort of work when you're working on my back, but we are certainly taking the samskaras and releasing the knots, the trauma that's locked in the body, that it allows more energy to flow in the spine. And as you can see, my spine is a little wacko, because it has this curvature in the spine, and I sort of look like a humpback whale. So, the spine is indicative of also what's going on. And I think it also is hereditary. In other words, the trauma that's come through your lineage. Like my mom's spine was a certain way that I've inherited as well. My son's spine is even worse than mine. He has the curvature of the spine. So I think there's physiological things that we inherit. That doesn't mean we can't correct them. If we have somebody like Darlene to work on us, or a good chiropractic, or even we do structural adjustment in the gym. But it is something we need to work at, because it's something that our body is in a certain position structurally because of certain factors. And if we clear them, we'll have more energy to run the Kundalini in the body. So thank you for showing up in my life and helping me learn how to do this for myself. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. I think too, that the energy is restored and the flow is restored through the spine, which is a lot, right?
So why don't you talk about what you have to offer on the Academy, which would help people too, which is that self-massage.
Yeah, I do. I actually have that self-massage on there, which it helps on so many levels of, right from the love of self, so getting to know your own body and communicating with the body, because your body will tell you where to go and how much pressure and what it needs. And there's the tools to use that I walk you through in these videos. And then it's just a case of self-empowerment, that you're able to do this for yourself and not have to run, either sit there and suffer or run to somebody to help me with this, that you can take the power in your hands and do the work.
Yeah, and especially with COVID-19, trying to get a massage and social distancing and all that can be a bit difficult. So, if got locked up energy in your body, and so there you have 5 videos for 5 different parts of the body, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
Yeah, 5 videos. They're about 20 minutes long, and they're from feet to knees, knees to hips, pelvic area, and shoulders, ribs, and neck and head, and walk you right through everything.
Yeah, so really to connect. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go for it.
Oh, Michael was yelling at me up top. He says lower back and pelvis too, but I did say pelvis. So.
Right. Yeah, the thing to remember, I think, in this is that the spine will self-correct if the muscles get released. So the muscles are holding the spine in a certain way, but when you do the self-massage, or you have your little chiropractor, or you do what you were talking about, then it loosens up the muscles so the spine can readjust back to its original blueprint. So doing self-massage or getting massage or taking care of yourself. So, this is the wellness show. So I encourage everybody listening to the show, if you haven't already done it, create a wellness plan. What is your wellness plan? How are you taking care of yourself? And now, how are you doing this with massage? How are you doing it with maybe Tai Chi? What are you doing physically, mentally, spiritually, all the different levels? How are you managing your own personal wellness? Because if you don't set that out as a set of goals, and even put it, for me, if it isn't in a calendar, I don't do it. And even if it's in a calendar, to get myself to do it, like go to my own home gym, has been almost virtually impossible for me to get in trained back to do that again. But a wellness calendar for yourself is really a good way if you really want to create this royal road to enlightenment. If you want to learn what it is to raise your kundalini, then you have to take care of yourself. So Darlene, thanks for phoning in, and hopefully people will pick up your course and get to work massaging themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be exciting to really get it out there for people, because it helps on so many levels, the lymphatic and the meridians and just everything. So thank you. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. So if you're interested in Darlene's course, or any other course for that matter, just type in www.thewellnessacademy.ca. .ca is for Canada. Thewellnessacademy.ca, and the new site will be up. We'll be working on the new site as of next week, and I don't know what the timeline is, but we're on the way, right? It's just about set up to move all the courses over. There'll be 5 different conduits, and I'm just giving you a blast into the future. We will be doing a whole course called Spiritual Millionaire. It's a set of courses, and it has to do with how to bring the deep clearing protocol into your business, into your money, into your abundance. And it will be taking you through a 40-day clearing, and then climbing the ladder to how to make your spiritual alignment between you and your potential clients, and how to get out of your own way. So it's a very, very exciting course. I'm in the midst of actually receiving that course myself, so then I can turn around and be a co-facilitator and teacher. So it will be coming soon to get you out there and with your amazing empathic gifts to help other people in the world. So this is what's coming in the Academy. So healing yourself, healing others, healing the planet, and creating your business, right? And also the store, the wellness store will be there as well, all in the same place. And the wellness show. So everything comes into the wellness Academy. One-stop shopping, right? This is the new age shopping center.
And it's much easier to remember. The wellness show, the wellness academy, the wellness, right?
Yeah, are you well? If you're not, you need to head over there. All right, so that was great. So we got about another 7 to 8 minutes. So we're time for one more call, or if there's anything you want to type in, or there's any questions you want to answer. I guess everybody's having amazing sex, so I guess that's not a problem there. Nobody wants to talk about it.
Amazing.
So you guys are all good out there. You're just, getting your, never mind. Be careful, Tyson. But you're doing fine out there.
How about we check on Tyla, though?
All right, what's up with Tyler? Who's Tyler?
Tyla, our dog, Tyla.
Well, it's just Ty, isn't it?
Oh my God. It is right now.
So who is this dog? You better explain to people.
So one of our listeners, Debbie, had gotten a little girl puppy, and so she listens to our show every day, and she loves Tyson and I because we've helped her so much. And she decided to call the dog Tyla. Tyson and Laura, why it wasn't Lata. Latai.
It sounds like some sort of
Latai.
drink. Right, it's a Latai. Hey, I'm having my Latai.
Latai. So anyway, she named it Tyla, but Tyla's got a little something going on in her intestines right now. And I was hoping she would have, pooped it out by now, but she hasn't. And she's just being a little finicky right now. But she was chasing the broom. She was cleaning up the horse stall and sweeping up the horse stall. And so Tyla was going after the broom an hour, which my dog does with the lawnmower and the shovels and brooms and everything else. So I understand. So it seems to me like she must be getting a little bit better. What are you getting?
Well, I'm just tapping in, and she's somewhere. I'm just going to count it out. 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. So she's all at 80%. So she's well on her way to correcting whatever the problem was. So I would
80%, yeah.
just give it some time. Talking about percentages, I had a cool opportunity of using percentages I never thought of before. Somebody on Messenger said, I saw the post you talked about empaths, and that, you know, if you get overwhelmed as an empath and you don't know why you're here and what your special gifts are. And she said, what you said really resonated with me, and I'd really like to work with you. And I said, great, that's wonderful. So I got this inkling, well, why don't I douse, you know, on a scale of 100 being the most empathic person on planet Earth, or not person, but people, right? Like a whole range of from highly sensitive to being highly empathic. Where was she? And I got 82%. So I thought that was really, really cool. Now I can help empaths and highly sensitive people see where they are on that range, right? Which I think will really help them understand what's happening in their system, because it can be really indicative that, just like in the deep clearing, I know at certain percentages, certain things, I can expect them to have the certain experiences at certain percentages of being opened or closed. And I think I'll be able to determine the same on that scale of 0 to 100 being highly empathic, of what sort of things that you will be experiencing at every level. So I'm quite excited about that. It's a brand new way of looking at it that I never thought of before, and it came to me this morning from Source. So if that's something you'd like to know about being, you know, where are you on the scale and what sort of things are you experiencing, then give me a call and we'll do some dowsing for you, and I'll have a little interview with you about what's going on with you, and I'll note that at 80% you can expect such and such and so and so. And by doing a number of those, somewhere in the hundreds or so, I'll have a whole graph of what I can expect, or what a client can expect if they're at a certain vibrational frequency between 0 and 100.
So if you're in a relationship with somebody and you want to douse for it, what's the question that you would ask?
What is the compatibility between me and George?
What is the compatibility? Like, for like, would you add in like something with the what we talked about today, with, or just the compatibility? Because this
I just do compatibility. I do it for everything. What is the business? You know, it's a business compatibility between 0 and 100. What is the compatibility between me and buying this car? What is the, you know, is it in my best interest? Or you can word it any way you want. But what, you know, to me, it's like, if we really want to have the law of attraction, then the energies need to match. So for me, if the compatibility or the energy doesn't match somewhere between 80, 90, and 100, I'm not interested. And 50 is about as exciting as flipping a coin.
Well, if we're working together, you and I must have come out pretty high then.
No, I didn't dare ask.
You know he's lying, guys. You know he's lying. Look at him. He's lying. He's got red all over him.
Hey, I'm innocent.
I'm going to ask what our compatibility is between myself and Tyson Bannigan.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to know that. So moving on. So don't forget, you've got about all of 2 minutes.
Look at that. Oh, you love me.
Phone in and get your answers to your questions.
Guess what, you guys? Tyson likes me. It's all
That's
good.
Right. Absolutely. Without a doubt. All right. So
are we at the end of the day?
Yeah, we are. We're very close to that. So let's just look at that. Let's be brave. So what's the compatibility between Tyson and Sarah? And that's very high. And Tyson and Laura? Ooh, that's scary. Man. Way too scary. Yeah. Well, some things you just don't want to know, folks out there. You don't want to know. All right.
Poor thing.
We're at the top of the hour. So, Michael, if you can hear us, what's the show tomorrow?
No, it's about psychic. Are we going to do psychic questions?
Oh yeah, I think it's psychic questions tomorrow. So yeah. Look, there's no show if you don't phone in tomorrow. I mean, how are we going to do psychic questions if you don't phone in? If you don't ask us, how can we answer something? So this is your show tomorrow, right? And otherwise, I've got to just hang out with Laura for an hour. And so please come and rescue me. All right.
Somebody
thanks for-
call in and ask about Tyhson and Laura. Come on.
Okay, so bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Thanks
Bye,
for showing
everyone.
up.
Have a good night. or
All right,
day.
bye for now.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.